He changed my life, my husband's life. He did. And it was just through the grace of God, because if I would have came to the other doctor 2 weeks later, I wouldn't have found Dr. Aryaie, and I would have been stuck with a peg tube eating through my stomach to a tube for the rest of my life. My name is Vivian Seacrest, and the procedure that I had for achalasia was the POEM procedure. I have been dealing with achalasia for at least 3 years, and it's progressively gotten worse. The symptoms that I was having with achalasia was food getting stuck, and I didn't realize that it was stuck until I would take that last drink of water, and then it would just explode. I couldn't eat without having a trash can beside of me. I could not go in a restaurant and eat with my family, my friends, my husband. And it was getting to the point to where I couldn't swallow liquid. Liquid would stop. And I lost approximately 40 pounds because of it. My quality of life had gone down so much, and it was getting worse. I didn't have any good outlook except maybe a peg tube to feed through my stomach, and that was the next resort. I had dilation several times, but it did not help, because the doctors that did it did not realize what I had, the achalasia. And until I found Dr. Aryaie, no one else knew. They blamed it on cancer treatment, radiation or whatever, but nobody knew what it was. So they would just dilate, but it didn't help. I still had all the symptoms. The reason I chose surgery was I felt like that was the only option. I did not want to live the rest of my life with a stomach tube, feeding, eating through through a tube, no. But the surgery, the way Dr. Aryaie explained it, was going to fix it. And I believed him. I trusted him. And he did. He fixed it. The procedure that I had is called the POEM. And they go in through the esophagus and make an incision in the esophagus and make like a tunnel beside of it and cut the muscles beside the esophagus that are constricting and stopping the food from going down. That way they're relaxed and the food can go all the way down the stomach. 8 years ago, I was diagnosed with nasopharyngeal cancer and had 35 radiation treatments. In the process of Dr. Aryaie trying to determine what was wrong with me, another symptom he found was a narrowing of my upper esophagus from the radiation treatments. So he dilated that and made it easier for me to swallow to get it past here. I had to have a esophagram, which showed how my esophagus was working. I had to have a manometry, which they put a tube in your nose and basically see how your sphincters are working in your esophagus, make you lay down and swallow, see how they're working. Then I had what they call a Bravo, where they go in there and they attach a capsule to the inside of your esophagus, and then you take a monitor with you, and it monitors what your esophagus is doing. And then he did do a dilation for the upper part that I was having problems with, and then the next thing was the POEM. So it wasn't just a quick, it was a process. He really thought this out and made sure what he was doing was the right thing. The doctor that I was going to that performed many dilations to try to help with my swallowing said that he had done all he could do, so he was going to recommend another doctor for me, Dr. Aryaie. He thought he could help me, and he did. He basically saved my life. My experience with Dr. Aryaie and his staff was wonderful. Dr. Aryaie isn't a regular doctor. He is a person, and he cares about his patients. He truly cares about his patients. He just wants to help. And all of his staff was good. They were all so good to me. The day of surgery, I came in, went back, they got everything set up, the IVs, all that, took me back to surgery, put me to sleep, and I woke up. I felt fine, didn't have much pain, and then the next morning, they did a swallow study to make sure everything was going down correctly. Then later that day, yes, soft foods, cream of wheat pudding, just to make sure everything was okay, and then I went home. Next day I went home. Since my surgery, I feel great. I can swallow without food getting stuck. I haven't thrown up any food. I haven't got choked. I haven't got sick. I feel great. The surgery changed my life. Not only my life, it changed my husband's life. He was constantly worried about me eating and getting sick and getting choked when he wasn't around. But I can go anywhere now and eat. I can eat what I want. I can go into restaurants. I can go out with family and friends and not have to worry about throwing up. And I feel better because I can actually eat food and not just cream of wheat and energy drinks, protein drinks or whatever. I trust Dr. Aryaie. I trust him all the way. I would recommend him to anybody that had problems with achalasia. He doesn't just jump in there and do it. It's a process. He makes sure of what he's doing. He doesn't just go, wow, that's it, and fix it. No, it's a process that he is 100% sure that that's what the problem is, then he fixes it. He did. And it was just through the grace of God, because if I would have came to the other doctor 2 weeks later, I wouldn't have found Dr. Aryaie, and I would have been stuck with a peg tube eating through my stomach to a tube for the rest of my life. How can you not be thankful for something like that?